What you're looking at right now, Claude Cowork just read my entire Slack, checked my Notion board, and wrote a full status report, and I didn't even open a single thing. And by the end of this video, you'll have it all set up and running your first task yourself. And it only takes about 10 minutes, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, so one thing I do actually want to be clear about is that you do need a Pro or a Max subscription to actually use Claude Cowork. And Pro is the cheaper one, and that's what I'm on. So link is going to be in the description for that. Anyways, once you've got a paid plan, you can actually head on over to this link, which I'll also leave in the description below, and you can download Claude for your desktop. And then once you've downloaded it, which takes about 2 minutes, we can actually head on and get to our first task for Claude Cowork. Alright guys, so once you've actually downloaded the Claude desktop app, this is what it's going to look like, and you're going to go over and head over to this tab over here, as you can see on the left, which is Cowork. And if you're Windows, you can also press Ctrl+2 and it will lead you to Cowork. And then obviously there's other options where there's chat and Claude Code, but we are not going to be using them for this video. And as you guys can see, I already have a task scheduled, which I will get to later in the video, and I'll teach you how you can have a system like that set up yourself as well. Alright, so for the first task, I'm actually starting with this one because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can actually relate, and we can actually see what Claude Cowork is doing under the hood. So as you guys can see, we have a folder called client files. It's all over the place. I mean, we've got 15 client files in it, PDFs, Word documents, named like absolute rubbish. No dates, no consistency, nothing. And you guys probably have a folder like this as well. And so the task that we're going to give Claude Cowork is to actually organize it for us, and then it's going to write us a summary spreadsheet. We can see we have a client, date, etc, etc. Let's open this PDF and see what we have here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can tell it's pretty messy all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and tell Claude Cowork to actually help us with that. Hey Claude, can you go into my client folder on the desktop and rename every file using the format client name underscore date underscore deliverable, and then pull all the key deliverables out of each file and build me a summary spreadsheet. And once we click enter, obviously it's going to be thinking, and then obviously this is what I wanted you guys to see as well. It will actually ask us for permission to access the desktop or the folder. So for this scenario, we're actually going to go ahead and go with number 1, and with number 2 we're going to go ahead with Excel sheet. And then as you guys can see, it will be working on it, and then here is going to ask us permission to access our desktop, and we are obviously going to allow it. Now watch, it's not just going to be renaming it, it's going to be opening each file and reading it to work out who the client is, what the date is, what actually was delivered. As you guys can see, you can actually read all the content, so it sees the 15 files, very messy names, and you know, it's going to read through each one, and it's going to be making the Excel sheet for us. So I'll be back with you guys when it's actually done, and I'll show you the finished product. All right guys, so we are done. As you guys can see, Claude Cowork has actually given us 3 examples of how it's renamed the files, so that is pretty neat. You actually do get control of how you want to organize things and how you want things to be laid out. And we're going to go ahead and check the spreadsheet ourselves, and you guys can see in our desktop we have our summary spreadsheet over here. So let's go ahead and see how good it actually is. And there it is. You guys can see the client, the date, the deliverable, file name, key description, status. And what's crazy is this was built in about 2 minutes, and building something like this would take about 90 minutes to actually make it and lay it out and, you know, read through all the files. So the fact that it's been cut down to around 2 minutes is actually insane. Alright guys, so for our second task, we are actually going to give it something a bit more complex. So we're going to be interacting with multiple different apps. So that's going to be Slack and Notion, and it's also going to be building us a summary on Word. So what the context basically is that Slack and Notion are never in sync. So as you guys can see, we do have this channel and things are being discussed over here, but they're not being updated on our Notion. So what it is that Claude Cowork is going to find what's been missed and then write an updated status report in Word, and then it's going to save it on my desktop. So we are going to go ahead and ask Claude Cowork to actually do that for us. Hey Claude, I want you to check the Project Alpha Slack channel for this week's messages and pull out every action item and cross-reference them against the Project Alpha Notion page to find what's been missed. then write an updated status report in Word and save it to my desktop. Alright, perfect. So we don't actually have our Notion and Slack connected. So I want you guys to take a close look at what's going to happen when we press enter. Alright, so right off the bat, you'll see that it says I'll need to connect to a few tools to pull this off. And now it's checking what tools we are actually connected to, and we are not connected to Notion or Slack. So here we can see that we can connect. So we're going to go with Notion first. Perfect. As you guys can see, we have connected to Notion, and now we're going to connect to Slack. And perfect. Now that we've connected to Notion and Slack, it's actually going to write it for us. So we're going to go ahead and tell it we have connected to both apps. Alright, perfect. I've connected to Notion and Slack. Can you please continue this for me? And now it's going to keep continuing and building this for us. And another thing that I want to point out is that you can see its progress right over here. So right now it's finding our project alpha in the channel, and then it's also finding our project alpha in Notion. And then here you can see that it's found in Notion and it's found it in Slack. So it says found both. And what I really think is interesting about this is that you can actually see what's going on, and you can kind of get a basis of what's actually being worked on and what it's reading and what the process actually looks like. Alright guys, so once this has been built, I will actually get back to you. So for right now, we're gonna go. Alright, so as you guys can see, it has actually built the document for us, but it needs our permission to actually store it in desktop. So we're obviously gonna press enter or just say allow. Alright, and perfect. So the report has actually been made and it has been saved to our desktop. But you can also go ahead and click over here to check it out. So let's go and see if it's actually any good. All right, so it's been done for us, and you can see the project name at the top. It says report, and it gives us the date as well. And what's crazy is it actually gives us the list of actions outstanding and what's been completed and what actually got missed. And we can actually send this to a client right now. And what's crazy is that I wrote none of it, and building something like this manually would take probably over an hour. So the fact that it's been built in about 5 minutes for us is absolutely insane. Alright, so for our third task, we are actually going to set up a schedule. So it's going to be doing it at whatever rate that we set it at. So in this case scenario, we're going to be setting it every week. So if we go into my downloads folder, as you guys can see, it is pretty messy right now. And you know, I actually don't like it, and I want to organize it. So I want to organize it just like this, how it's already been organized for me. So the first thing is I'm actually going to delete this right now, and we're going to go over and press new task. We can also do it from scheduled over here if we go a new task. However, we're going to do it from over here. Now we're going to ask Claude Cowork to actually organize our download folder. So it's pretty simple. You got to just ask it in plain English and it will respond back to you and do it for you. Hey Claude Cowork, can you please organize my downloads folder based off of images, videos, executables, spreadsheets, documents, etc. please. I already have some subfolders made, so please organize it into them. And can you please make this into a scheduled task to do it weekly? And now we're going to press enter, and we're going to go ahead and see what it actually does. And so obviously it's asking us for permission to work in downloads, so we're going to go ahead and press enter. Alright, perfect. So as you guys can see, it's basically done it for us, and here's the scheduled task. At every 9 AM on Mondays, it is gonna organize our downloads folder for us. And one thing to keep in mind for scheduled tasks is that if you do actually want to run them, you do need to have your computer on, or you do need to have your Claude desktop app running. So that is something to keep in mind. And then we're gonna go ahead and allow it and schedule. And perfect, it also lets us know what's been organized right now. And now in our downloads folder, as you can see, we have everything actually organized. So this is pretty cool. We go other. You can see over here, everything's been put into archives, documents, images, installers, etc. And you guys will get the point that it's pretty neat, it's pretty nice. And you know, now we have a weekly schedule of our downloads folder getting organized. Alright guys, so now that we're done with all the tasks and I've showed you how to use Claude Cowork, I want you to keep a few things in mind so that you go in with the right expectations. Messy files make for messier outputs. It will still work, but if your folders are chaos and your files mean nothing, you'll get back something less clean than if you'd started with some basic structure. What it's not for. Live collaboration with other people and heavy financial modeling, anything just needs real judgment calls. That's still your job. Cowork handles the admin layer and the bit where you're just moving information from one place to another. That's what it's good at, and is genuinely actually great at it. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. I will leave all the links in the description below. Hope you enjoyed it and you actually learned something. And if you want to see more content like this, please make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe. And let me know what type of content you guys actually want to see. If you guys want me to make a video more in depth of Claude Cowork or other tools, let me know, and subscribe to never miss out on a video. That's it for today. Bye bye.